Would you like an interview?
No, where are you from?
I'm from Lives Matter. I believe everyone has an opinion.
Oh,
and
that's the right-wing organization. That's why nobody wants to talk to you.
Right wing? Where did you hear that?
I just know about it.
Okay. What's up, guys? Drew here with Lives Matter. We are out here in Hollywood, California on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We want to ask people how they feel about the migrant caravan. Do people actually care if illegal criminals come into the country and take over their entire lifestyles as Americans? We did some interviews over with GAVI, KOLLIN over at the protest. We want to see if people actually care about illegal immigration. Let's see what happens. What is your opinion on immigration or illegal immigration? Why are you here today?
So some solidarity, some support with, folks illegal and legal otherwise trying to cross, state lines to try to get some amnesty in the United States. Seems legit.
So are you for a border wall?
Not really.
Are you for border protection?
No.
So you don't think the country should protect its borders?
No, because, corporations, they leave the borders.
What kind of corporations? Like Apple, Microsoft? What are you talking about?
Many. Basically, in 2017, there was a study that stated that $700 billion, $1.5 trillion left the United States. They've been investing in industrialized countries in Europe and
China.
And Latin America and Southeast Asia. So capital is leaving the United States.
So that's a reason for the United States border to be completely open to anyone to come in as they please?
Sure. If we can have these undocumented people come in, they work the fields, then they won't say anything, then that's good for Cargill.
So are you for that, even though that means putting you out of the job?
Sure.
So you would be willing to allow people who are not United States Americans to come into this country and take your job?
Because I would be okay with that.
And you'd be poor and end up on the street. You're fine with that?
Because corporations pick and choose.
How do you feel about criminal activity coming through the border into the United States of America when predominantly, statistically speaking, even during the Obama era, the amount of deportations that took place were high? And about 90% of the illegal immigrants that were deported out of the United States during the Obama administration were illegals that had criminal activity or criminal backgrounds. So let me ask you this. Are you even advocating that we should allow anyone to come into the country even though they're criminals and can come commit crime and hurt United States Americans?
Preferably, I would not want criminals.
Well, statistically speaking, that's the amount of people that are coming into the country.
Well, I get that the United States government is actually encouraging these, quote, criminals come to the United States. Why? Because the government supports drug cartels, if you really think about it.
You're open, completely open. You're pro-open borders. You're completely open to the idea that the United States should remove the military, remove Border Patrol, and just allow anyone to walk into the country freely. That's your position, right?
Well, if you would just, from what I just stated, is that the United States is actually encouraging the criminals to come over to.
No, but I'm talking about you. You're saying that your position, that you're open to anyone coming into the United States, correct?
Yes.
So even if that means that 90% of people coming into the country are criminals, you're okay with that. What matters is that the policy, according to you, you would like the borders to be completely open and that so evil people can come flooding into the country. You can't remove evil people from the world.
Well, that's funny because, like I just said, the CIA funded these criminals in the 80s, 90s, and present.
Well, do you have a house?
No, I don't have a house.
Do you live anywhere? Do you live on the street?
I have a home.
Do you believe in breaking and entering is something that's legal?
No, it's illegal, but...
Okay, so if someone illegally broke into your house against your will to steal whatever they wanted from you, would you have a problem with that?
Yes, I would have a problem with it.
Why?
Because the United States breaks and enters other people's...
No. Let's stick to the question here.
No. The thing is that your argument seems to be that I should support stronger, secure, stronger.
No. Do you believe in the rule of law is what I'm asking you?
No, I don't believe in the rule of law.
You don't believe that the law should be upheld in society?
Because the United States has broken the law.
So how come you'd have a problem if someone broke into your house, but you don't have a problem with someone breaking into the United States of America?
Because the United States, as I tried to reiterate, has broken into sovereign countries for a century, such as the Banana Wars from 1898 to 1934, in which the United States has invaded parts of Mexico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Panama, Nicaragua.
So you think the U.S. deserves to just die and burn and go to hell and everyone should get hurt inside of it? Did I have anything to do with that?
No.
So then why do I deserve to get broken into my country?
Because you're supporting the United States foreign policy, which is to break and enter.
No, I'm supporting the rule of law being upheld so United States American families are safe from illegal criminals breaking into this country, stealing their jobs, and possibly breaking into their lives and hurting them and destroying their lives forever. Because you have a problem with someone breaking into your house, and I have a problem with someone breaking into my country because it's the rule of law that matters. You have a problem because you know that it's wrong if someone breaks into your house because it has to do with you. And once it comes knocking on your own door personally, you have a problem with it. And for me, I take it personally because this is the country that I live in. Yes, the United States has made many mistakes, but I'm still an American. I still live here. I still have a wife. I still have a family. I have people I love. And when people come pouring over from the border illegally, coming to take jobs and possibly hurting people and taking their lives, yes, I have a huge problem with that because it does become personal for me because it does affect my life.
Then shouldn't you blame the United States government for invading other people's sovereign, territory?
That has nothing to do with upholding the United States American law of closing the border and securing the border down at the southern border and the northern border. Last question. If the migrant caravan came in, would you be willing to house them in your house?
Would you be able to? I try to do the best I can.
Would you allow them to live in your house with you?
Sure.
Would you pay all their bills and for all their kids?
I would have to get 2-3 more jobs, but I think it's worth it.
Solidarity with the refugee caravan, let them all in. So, Party for Socialism and Liberation. So you think we should let all of them in?
All of them, yes, absolutely. Look at, first and foremost, we as working people, we as the working class, support workers' right to move where they need to survive. And that means anywhere. That's the first principle. Because we are not with the corporations that exploit them or the imperialist powers like the U.S. that supports like for instance in Honduras, where they supported the overthrow of the legitimate and democratically elected president. And that's the conditions exponentially deteriorated, and now you have this really great numbers of people that have to move to survive.
So my next question is, are you advocating for illegal immigration?
Oh, it's not. It's illegal. Slavery used to be legal. There's been plenty of repressive laws, Jim Crow, the grabbing of lands from the indigenous people. All that was legal.
So do you believe that? Do you believe?
I said those people are workers like I am. Okay, so I support their right to move to survive. Also, I want the U.S. to stop interfering and supporting right-wing dictatorships like they did down in Honduras. They're the one. This super exploitation. That is what's causing people to have to move.
My question is, do you think that we should get rid of our border and let whoever wants to come in come in?
Yes, but in particularly working people. The working people have a right. I don't want to.
But what about non-working people who are poor?
Well, poor people, working class, oppressed people.
So we should get rid of our border.
Well, they're working folks can. We don't need the borders. I mean, there is when the corporations move and exploit and support dictatorship. Where's the borders? There is no borders. The U.S. attacks and has been attacking countries since its existence, when they grabbed the land from the indigenous.
So I'm guessing you want to.
Where was the borders then?
So I'm guessing
borders. Come on.
So I'm guessing you want to abolish ICE, immigration.
Yes, ICE has to be abolished, and the people, the workers and the oppressed have to have power to decide what kind of a society and what kind of relationships that we want to have.
We're out here with the American Indian Movement SoCal chapter, and we're out here to stand in solidarity with the refugee caravans because we believe that they have the right to come to this country. The colonizers that came over 500 years ago stole our land, and they just made themselves at home. So we feel that the people on the caravan have a right to be here too and be free, be happy, and start a new life with their families.
This is an act of humanity. It doesn't have anything to do with where they came from or why they're coming. We need to come together and help each other, regardless of borders.
Would you guys be willing, if the caravan came in, would you guys be willing to house them in your own personal home? So do you believe a country should be able to defend itself?
Against poor, helpless people without weapons that just are trying to make a better life, get away from the horrors that are going on in their own country? This is a rich country. We could provide for others. And where's the money going to come from? The taxpayers. So if we're willing to give our money to help them, why not? It's not coming out of the federal government.
So you
just open the doors, let them in, and we can work it out.
So you would be willing to work for people to come into the country and live here? You'd be willing to, and they wouldn't work? They would just live here for free?
They want to work.
But why would they have to work if you guys are working for them to live here?
Because they're people and they want to better themselves. They don't want to stay at the class that they're living in now, at the poverty level. They want to do more with their lives for themselves, their children, get them some education and make something of themselves. Everyone is just assuming that these are lazy people, criminals wanting to come over here and live off of somebody else. That's not true.
It's just hard. It's hard because some new statistics have come out nationally that 63% of non-citizens in the United States are literally on welfare to this date, to this hour. That's a fact.
No. Whose statistics? This government? This lying government? Their statistics? No. I don't believe them.
I wanted to get people's opinions on the migrant caravan on the southern border. How do you feel about it?
I think that a bunch of white people came here like 200 years ago and stole land that Native Americans were living on. And there's no reason for us not to let other people come here when we definitely have the land and the resources. And instead of spending like $600 trillion on military, we should give those people medicine and food and water and shelter and not treat them like criminals.
So you mentioned the $600 trillion, right? Where does the majority of that money come from?
I honestly don't know. I would assume taxes.
So you're willing to pay taxes for people to come into the country? And
yeah, my parents are immigrants. I was born here, but my parents were born in India, and they wouldn't have been able to come here without other people paying taxes for them. So I would absolutely pay taxes.
So are you a homeowner, or do you live somewhere, right?
Rent an apartment, yeah.
Okay, let's just say like the government came out and was like, hey, let's just bring in like millions of immigrants, thousands, millions, but the public has to be willing to open up their homes to house like 2, 3, 4, 5 families. Would you be willing to do that?
I live in a studio apartment, so I personally would not be willing to do that. I know that in Los Angeles, there's a lot of millionaires with a lot of big houses and a lot more room than me, and I feel like it wouldn't be unreasonable to ask a white millionaire that made their fortune through probably corruption to house some immigrants so that they can work honestly.
So you personally wouldn't be willing?
No apartment.
So you think?
No, I personally would not be willing to let a bunch of people stay in my studio apartment, but I am a member of an oppressed class. I'm a member of the poor people, which are like 70% of people that live in this country, and I can't be expected to do what rich people and politicians should be doing for these immigrants.
Well, the only problem is the money that you speak of comes from taxpayers, like you say. And I don't know if you know this, but according to the Immigration Center studies that have literally come out this month, 63% of people that are not United States Americans in the country are literally on welfare.
Honestly, even if they all come here and they're all on welfare, I don't give a fuck. I think people should be given the means to live anyway. I don't think it's wrong for people to be given food and water and health care. And I think that, again, we have an enormous military budget. We could cut our military budget in half and still have the biggest military in the world. So there's no reason to be diverting all of that money into just fighting wars overseas.
But what if I don't agree with you?
Well, you clearly don't.
Well, because it's taxpayer money, that's the issue. Because you're advocating that we should take taxpayer money and bring in all these immigrants in and take care of them, but you're not even willing to house them in your own home.
Because I'm poor. I mean, you have to understand the difference between a poor member of the working class in America. I work in a f***ing restaurant. That's what those immigrants are going to do too. Why should I be expected to support them and not any politician that's living in $1 million home, or people that are able to drop $10,000 a day without thinking about it? Why shouldn't they be paying rent for immigrants? Why should I be doing it? Why are poor people the only people that are going to stand up for other poor people?
So are you willing to like drop like 75% of your paycheck for like an immigrant family to come live here, and you're just poor and you might end up on the street? Would you be willing to do that?
No.
Do you care about them that much?
We don't pay 75% of our paycheck in taxes right now. So
that's just a hypothetical number.
I would be willing to, yeah, if I looked at the breakdown of what I'm paying to taxes, I would, like, I'm a taxpayer, I should be able to choose. I don't want my money to go to cops and border patrol. I just want my money to go to education and immigrants and healthcare. Like, I'm not able to choose that. If I could, then I would.
So are you for immigration or illegal immigration?
I don't think that borders should be a thing.
At all?
I think that we should have some system to people that are like registered felons or criminals shouldn't be able to travel between countries, but I don't think a border makes sense. Like 30 years ago, you could just walk into Canada, and now you need a passport. And that's because of xenophobia, and it's because of racism.
So you think that just because we want to protect our country, that's racist?
America was built on genocide and slavery, so wanting to protect a country built on genocide and slavery is racist in my opinion.
So according to that logic, let's just say back then the Americans came, they fought the Indians, they did what they did. So are you saying that that's logically okay if another country wants to come in and do that in this day and era? If they want to come make war...
Doing that, they're coming here to work in restaurants and in meatpacking industries and picking fruit and vegetables and grains. That I'm sure you're not doing that. I'm sure you work in some like cushy millennial job. I'm sure you don't want to be slaughtering animals and packaging them, which is what a lot of immigrants are doing, or working out in 105-degree heat.
I mean, if I absolutely had to, I would.
But you have to realize that those people are the backbone of our current agricultural and meat industries. They're not criminals. They're not coming here to like fight a war.
Last question. So do you believe that Donald Trump is a racist?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I feel like that's an obviously inflammatory question that like everyone knows the answer to. Like,
well, I'm asking you for the answer.
He banned Muslim people from entering this country. He's trying to ban Mexican people from entering this country. He's trying to build a wall around us. He's said racist things in the past.
What did he say?
Outright racist things. I don't fucking know. Watch any of his campaign speeches. He talks about how Mexicans are dirty and rapists and drug dealers, and he's trying to protect us from them.
He said some are, not all.
Some white people are also drug dealers and criminals, but we're not trying to just... Like, are we kicking white people out of the country?
So do you have like one legitimate reason as to why Donald Trump is a racist?
I just gave you legitimate.
So because he wants to keep out illegal criminals from the United States of America, that's racist?
I mean, they're criminals because it's a crime to come here. So, and there aren't even criminals. Like, it's not illegal to apply for asylum. You're acting like the very act of wanting to come to a new country is committing a crime, which is bullshit. And that's what America was founded on, is people coming to a new country.
Do you know how many people Barack Obama's administration deported?
Yeah, I don't like Obama either. I think he's a warmonger, and I think he's a piece of shit. So if you were going to try and get me there, I don't support any president.
Well, I'm just giving you statistics. There was about 2 million people, okay? And about 90% of those people, you can go look all this stuff up, about 90% of those people literally had criminal records, or they were fugitives on the run from ICE, coming from foreign countries, not just Mexico. So how do you explain that?
They're fugitives on the run from ICE because they've committed the crime of trying to come to a new country. Like, you're going in a circle. Yeah, if you make it a crime to try and immigrate, then obviously they're going to be criminals, and then you can call them criminals and say you don't want them to immigrate.
So do you think anyone should just be able to walk into the country?
I think that, again, there should be a measure to check if you are like a registered felon or if you've committed any violent crimes. But like, other than that, yeah, I think if someone wants to come to America, they should be able to.
Look at this guy's vandalizing. I got this all on camera. Look at this. This is what the left has produced. We literally got this guy drawing a Nazi symbol and saying "Fuck this puto, Donald Trump." And the left says, love trumps hate. Is there anybody here that thinks that this is love? Is there anybody here that thinks that this is love? You think drawing a Nazi symbol on someone's name is love? Does anyone think that that's okay? Anybody?
That's okay.
You think it's okay?
That's okay, but he think like that.
You think that's cool?
Not cool.
You think it's cool to just vandalize here? You think that's cool to do in America, to just vandalize and break the law in public like this?
That's for the actor, not for the president.
Yeah, but that you think it's cool to write "Fuck this puto, Donald Trump" on the Donald Trump star? You think that's cool? In front of all these people here right now, you think it's cool to vandalize and disrespect the President of the United States? You think it's good?
Not good. I didn't say it's good.
You think it's cool? So you think it's cool to vandalize and break the law?
Don't say what I didn't say.
That's literally, I have you on camera. That's what you just said.
Sure, yeah.
So you think it's okay to vandalize and break the law?
No, but he's free. He
You can think how, yeah, but he's not free to break the law and vandalize.
He do what he wants.
This isn't freedom of speech. This is vandalism.